Hi everyone, I'm Lorraine from Simply English Edinburgh. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be recommending 5 of my all-time favourite novels to help you improve your English. Now, the reality is that reading is very subjective, and actually I do believe that anything you read in English will help you to improve. But generally what I hear from my students is that they are reading maybe books for children because they think that that would be more suitable for their level, but then they're not as engaged in the story. Or they can't actually find books that they're interested enough in, like they walk into a bookstore and it's a little bit overwhelming, like what to choose, who's good. So this is where I'm coming in today. Hopefully you will enjoy some of my recommendations. The first thing I would like to mention as well, however, is that if you feel that you do not have enough level to dive right into a 400-500 page book, why not check out quick reads? Now, these are books that are written for native speakers of English. Maeve Binchy was an Irish author and journalist. This is an example of a quick read. Let me get it right here. So you can see up here, it is marked quick reads. If you actually just put it into like Amazon, even on the search bar, quick reads, you will get lots of different examples. So you can see here that, you know, there's not too much, the print is quite big, there's not too much content. This book, for example, is 117 pages. So I think it's a good way to start if you're looking to like dip in and get used to reading in English. Later in this video, I will also be talking to you about our new book club at Simply English Edinburgh. So if you are interested in joining a book club for like-minded lovers of reading who are non-native speakers of English, then stay tuned to the end of the video, and I will also be leaving some information in the description bar below. So let's get started with my recommendations. The first one I have for you today is Zadie Smith, Swing Time. Now, Zadie Smith is a London-based author. I'm not going to lie, I don't think this is actually my personal favourite book. I know I said it would be my favourites, but I tried to adapt them as well to you know, be suitable for non-native readers of English. I think my personal favourite by her is probably On Beauty. Let's get a photo of that in somewhere on the screen so you can see that as well. But I think for non-native readers of English, this is a fantastic book because I think while it's quite long, you can see here, it's over 400 pages. Yeah, it's almost 450 pages. I think that the story is definitely engaging enough, and there are few enough characters that you will be able to follow the story. Basically, on the surface, this is your standard, you know, hard work versus success. It tells the story of 2 girls born into immigrant families growing up in London. Both of them love ballet dancing and they attend ballet classes. One is super talented. She has extreme raw talent and a flair for dancing, and her mum completely supports her in her dream of becoming a dancer, buys her all the tutus, the shoes, all of the things, pays for the classes, and basically views this as a viable career option for her daughter and a way to get them out of their bad economic circumstances. The other young girl, however, is not as talented. Like, she doesn't have as much natural ability, but she's a perfectionist. She loves dancing. She puts a lot of effort into it. And on the other hand, then, her mum does not view ballet as anything other than a couple of hours of exercise for her daughter to get away from her books and her studies, and genuinely feels that she did not bring her family, she did not immigrate to the UK for her daughter to become a dancer. No, she wants her to study and to get a serious career. So on the surface, this is a story of, you know, hard work versus talent, but it is just so much more than that. We move throughout the lives of the 2 girls. One of them does in fact become a professional dancer. They both end up with completely different lives. And yeah, it just tells how they grow apart because basically their lives have gone in such different directions. It's not just the story of hard work versus talent, it's the story of family expectations, the immigrant experience, like your obligations to your family, race, class. Read it. It's so good. I really think you'll like it. And yeah, as I said, because the story focuses predominantly on these two girls, you're not too involved in the plot of like lots of different characters either. So I do think this is a manageable one. Okay, what have I got next? Ooh, next up, there's been so much about this book. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. This is Normal People by Sally Rooney. Sally Rooney is an Irish author, and Normal People was her second novel. Now, this has become a huge success, and actually BBC have made it into a series. And season 1 has already been aired. Season 1 is actually the whole book, but there are talks about creating another series about it as well. It's so good. Basically, it tells the story of a young boy and girl growing up in the west of Ireland, again, to two very different families. The boy is popular, into sport and things like that. He's from a much poorer background. He's, he just has a single mum. And the girl is from a much, everyone knows she lives in this huge big house. She's also very talented at school, but she's a bit of an outsider and a loner. And actually they fall in love secretly because he doesn't want people to know about their romance. And basically once they move to Dublin away from their small village, they feel like they can be open about being a couple perhaps, but it's the ups and downs of their relationship, but it's just so much more than that. It's really well written. And I think the advantage, as I said, of this as well is that afterwards you do get to watch a TV series as well. And I think that can really help with your understanding of English. Like, what did you miss? What else can you catch from a series? But yes, this is a definite recommendation. Read it. Okay, so next up, we have actually another Irish author, John Boyne. This is called The House of Special Purpose. John Boyne is probably more well known, it's actually on the book here, you can see he's probably more well known for his novel The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, that is on the reading curriculum of so many schools worldwide at this point. It was a huge best-selling novel, but this is my favourite book by John Boyne. It's not a book I would have expected to love, but I think if you like history, you will love it. But I'm not a big history lover, and I loved it. So, basically it tells the story of a young boy who is living in a small village in Russia. And basically what happens is there are some members of the royal family coming to visit in his hometown, and he gets wind of the fact that there is going to be an assassination attempt on a member of the royal family. Now, even though him or his family are not particularly in love with the royal family or the establishment that's going on, he basically wants to save the person committing the assassination from trouble. So once the shot is fired, he actually jumps in front of the member of the royal family, saves his life essentially. And while he's recovering he's at home recovering from this, he's declared a hero, and actually it turns out that someone he knows quite well carried out the assassination attempt and he has been executed. So he thinks, well, basically I did that for nothing. Essentially what happens then is, against his will, he is taken away from his village because he has been proclaimed a hero. He has saved this member of the royal family, and he's moved to St. Petersburg to become a bodyguard for members of the royal family. But it's not just about that. I mean, of course, it's about the story of a young boy taken away from his family to live in vastly different circumstances, but it's so much more than that. We move forward in time. We go to England, and later on in his life, it's the story of him and his wife. They're reflecting on their life. They're reflecting on the fall of the empire, what took them from Russia to England. It's gripping. I've read it 3 times. I think I've cried every time I've read it right at the end. I'm not sure if I'm crying because it's over or just it's a whole emotional experience. So a big recommendation from me. Okay, my next one is Here Comes the Sun. Such a bright, lovely cover, isn't it? And this was a debut novel from Nicole Dennis Benn, and set in Jamaica. Basically it's told through the eyes of three different members, three different women in the same family, two daughters, one who is twice the age of her younger sister, and their mum. And again, there's so much going on in this story, but I think the main point here is something that we don't really see or think about too much. It is the dark side of tourism and what it means for local communities when you bring huge multi-million pound complexes to resorts, and how it means that local people end up in, very badly paid jobs, prostitution, and the suffering of local people, and how they're trying to retain community spirit, fight for their livelihoods. It is an excellent read, and I couldn't believe it was a debut novel when I was reading it, and I think you guys will love this one as well. And my last recommendation, I don't actually have a physical copy of the book with me because I've lent it out to someone, and it is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I will put a picture of it here somewhere for you to see. And this basically tells the story of a young couple who grow up in Nigeria, and when they finish high school they both have dreams of moving abroad due to the situation, the dictatorship which is ongoing in their country at the time. She moves to the United States, he moves to London, where unfortunately his visa ends up running out and he ends up an undocumented immigrant in London, which is a story in itself. But we focus mostly on her story in the United States. She's dealing with racism for basically the first time in her life, classism, ignorance, and it's about her paving her way in the United States to become successful. Her boyfriend in the meantime leaves London, moves back to Nigeria and becomes successful in his own right. And when she does decide to leave the United States and come back, it is, in one sense it's a love story. Will they, won't they get back together? They've had such different experiences. They've been apart basically because of their circumstances due to visas and things like that. Will they be able to make it work? So it is an outstanding award-winning novel and I definitely recommend it. So as I said before, reading is super subjective. You might have looked at my recommendations and thought, really, that's what you read? Are you serious? But actually, I think the storylines here are so engaging. I think the plots, while multifaceted, are quite easy to follow. As I said, Normal People has been made into a series. There is talk of Americana being adapted as well, so I think that's also an advantage when you're looking for a book to read, knowing that you can also fall back on the series later on as well. I think also makes it very worthwhile for improving your English reading and listening as well if you get to watch the series, which is good. So more about the book club. At Simply English Edinburgh, we are organising a book club for advanced plus speakers and learners of English. And basically what we're doing is we're choosing a book every month. We have organised more or less the first 3 months of books, so if you are interested, please get in touch. For my own students attending my classes and classes within my academy, this book club is free of charge. For students, it is £5 per month. We're going to meet monthly, or well, maybe every 5 weeks. That's going to depend on how things go. And to discuss the book, we're going to be meeting online. Therefore, it's open to you wherever in the world you might be watching this from. And I think there's a lot of demand for something like this because many of my students have gone to book meetings and felt intimidated to speak because they felt like, I'm not native, how am I going to compete? So this is going to be a really welcoming environment for non-native speakers. So if you are interested, please send me a message on Instagram, send me an email, All of my social media links are in the description box below. So yeah, send me a message and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I really do hope you will have a look at some of these suggestions to consider. Thank you for watching. As always, please like, subscribe and share with your friends. See you in the next video. Thank you.